The young men, influenced by socialist ideas, decided to set up a nationwide revolutionary organization. Prominent among them were Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, Sukhdev, etc. All these revolutionaries were secular in their thoughts. In 1928, in the meeting held at Firoz Shah Kotla ground in Delhi, these young men established the organization called Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. The objective behind the establishment of this organization was to free India from British exploitation. It also wanted to overthrow the unjust socio-economic system which exploited the farmers and workers. Bhagat Singh gave importance to creation of a society based on social justice and equality. The work of gathering arms and execution of programs was entrusted to a separate wing of the organization, and this wing was called Hindustan Socialist Republican Army, and Chandrasekhar Azad was the chief of this wing. Members of this organization carried out many revolutionary activities. Bhagat Singh and Rajguru fired bullets and killed an officer named Saunders in order to avenge the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. The government had introduced two bills in the Central Legislative Assembly curtailing civil rights. To protest it, Bhagat Singh and Botukeshwar Datta threw bombs in the Central Legislative Assembly. The British government immediately raided the centers of Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. Through it, the police also obtained clues related to the killing of Saunders. The government started arresting the revolutionaries. They were tried under the charge of sedition. On 23rd March 1931, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev were hanged in the Lahore jail. But till the end, Chandrasekhar Azad did not fall into the hands of the police. Later, he died in an encounter with police at Alfred Park in Allahabad. Children, the young men influenced by socialist ideas decided to form a nationwide revolutionary organization. Prominent among them were Chandrasekhar Azad, Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev. All these revolutionaries were secular in thought. In a meeting held on the Firoz Shah Kotla ground in Delhi in 1928, these young men founded an organization called Hindustan Socialist Republican Association. The main objective of the organization was to free India from British exploitation. So, children, what was the main objective of Hindustan Socialist Republican Association? That is to free India from British exploitation. It also aimed at overthrowing the unjust socio-economic order which exploited the peasants and workers. Bhagat Singh gave importance to the creation of a society based on social justice and equality. A separate wing of organization was entrusted the task of acquisitions of arms and implementations of programs, and this wing was called Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. Chandrasekhar Azad was the head of this wing. Members of this organization carried out many revolutionary activities. Rajguru and Bhagat Singh shot dead an officer named Saunders in order to avenge the death of Lala Lajpat Rai. So, children, here you came to know about two organizations. One is Hindustan Socialist Republican Association, and another is Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. The government had introduced two bills in the central legislature curtailing civil rights, and in protest against the bills, Bhagat Singh and Botukeshwar Datta threw bombs in the Central Legislative Assembly. Children, at once the British government raided the centers of Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. Through this, the police also unearthed some clues relating to the killing of Saunders. The government started arresting the revolutionaries. They were tried under the charge of sedition. Bhagat Singh, Rajguru, and Sukhdev were hanged in the prison at Lahore on 23rd March 1931. Some were sentenced to life imprisonment, others were sentenced to long term imprisonments. Chandrasekhar Azad, however, eluded the police till the very end. Later, he died in an encounter with the police in Alfred Park in Allahabad. After the death of Chandrasekhar Azad, the revolutionary movement in the provinces of the Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, and Bihar began to wane. So, children, here you have come to know about Hindustan Socialist Republican Association and also Hindustan Socialist Republican Army. Now, I am going to discuss about the attack on Chittagong Armory. Children, Surya Sen was the chief of the revolutionary group at Chittagong in Bengal. He had gathered around him revolutionaries like Anand Singh, Ganesh Ghosh, Kalpana Datta, that is Pritilata Vadedar. With their assistance, Surya Sen drew up with a plan to attack the armory at Chittagong. As part the plan, on 18th April 1930, the revolutionaries seized the arms from the two armories in Chittagong. The telephone and telegraph lines were broken and they succeeded in paralyzing the communication system. After that, they gave a thrilling fight to the British Army. Children, Surya Sen was the chief of the revolutionary group at Chittagong in Bengal. He had gathered a group of loyal revolutionaries like Anand Singh, Ganesh Ghosh, Kalpana Datta, and Pritilata Vadedar. With their help, Surya Sen drew up a plan to raid the government armory at Chittagong. As planned, the revolutionaries seized the arms from two armories in Chittagong on 18th April 1930. They destroyed the telephone and telegraph lines and succeeded in paralyzing the communication system. Thereafter, they gave a thrilling fight to the British Army. Children, Surya Sen and some of his associates were captured by the police on 16 February 1933. Surya Sen and 12 of his associates were sentenced to death. Kalpana Datta was sentenced to life imprisonment. Pritilata Vadedar killed herself rather than falling into the hands of the police. The Chittagong Revolt gave an impetus to the revolutionary movement in the country. Shanti Ghosh and Suniti Chaudhary, two schoolgirls, killed the district judge while Beena Das, a young woman, fired bullets at the governor in the convocation ceremony of Kolkata University. Sardar Udham Singh killed Michael O'Dwyer in England in 1940. The revolutionary movement has made an important contribution to India's freedom struggle. The revolutionaries displayed daring and determination in their fight against the British power. Their love for the nation and their attitude of sacrifice were indeed incomparable. Their sacrifice has always been a source of inspiration to Indians. So, children, here you have come to know about the attack on Chittagong Armory and how these revolutionaries displayed daring and determination while fighting against the British rule, and the love for the nation and attitude of sacrifice was just incomparable, and their sacrifice proved to be an inspiration to the Indians. So, children, today the topic, the armed revolutionary movement, I have covered each and every point related to the topic. Now you go through your textbook. You should read the topic in detail. Whatever is discussed in the videos related to the topic, you should go through it carefully, and also you should read your textbook. Thank you. Have a nice day. Stay safe, stay healthy.